The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. And now your hosts, Mickey Spagnola, Everson Walls, Nate Newton, and Bill Jones.
Oh, what a beautiful morning in Southern California. We're at the corner of Ventura and Vineyard in Oxnard, California, and it is day number 2 of padded practices here for your Dallas Cowboys. Bill Jones, along with the star of our show, Mickey Spagnola, and really now the star of our show, just arriving about 36 hours ago on that long drive west. Nathaniel Newton is here. Hello, Nate.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm excited. Everson, I'm not taking your job. I'm just sitting in your seat, okay?
It's about time you got here. That's the way I look at it.
Well, was anybody hitting? I saw a bunch of guys running around in their underwears out there.
You heard the head coach yesterday. He said that the real training camp really starts today, Monday, right?
And Nate shows up.
I said, well, why didn't you tell us that a week ago? My TV station could have saved a lot of money if we would have just shown up yesterday. See, Nate's the veteran here.
Yes.
He's smart. He knows exactly when to show up for camp.
Hey, man, it was a great first day, too, fellas. I think it was.
You liked it?
Oh, it was a crisp, great first day, and I think Coach McCarthy did a great job, and not only telling us as media that 10 padded practices. I think he got that over to his players because the tempo was great yesterday.
And you're hesitant to say that any team has a crisp practice on the first day, right?
Definitely. You look for a lot of errors, and I didn't see the parts of practice I saw. I didn't see a lot of errors. It seemed like they kept the plays limited, a small number, so guys could really concentrate on what they needed to do and be physical. And it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, and I thought, usually when you have that first padded practice, the defense really dominates. I thought both sides did a nice job out there. Defense got some pressure on the quarterback when they were blitzing and when Parsons was rushing. And then the offense made plays, made some nice runs, a couple deep passes. I thought Dak and CD were right on point most of the day. So, yeah, I thought overall for a first padded practice of training camp, and as Nate said, you only get 10 of them, I thought it was a really good day for him.
I should also add we have producer supreme Chris Beam there as well.
He gave me a thing, too. I want to say this. He gave me some stuff, and I asked him how much it is. Well, did it cost for my earplugs and all of that?
Uh-huh.
And he said you can just keep them while you're out here in camp.
Just
he won't
while
get
you're
them
out
back.
here in camp.
Yeah, he won't get that back.
I am not getting them back.
Thank you, Chris, super producer.
Did you know this about producer supreme Chris Beam?
What is that?
He has got to be a world champion cornhole player.
Yes, he is.
Have you seen him play? He and Isaiah Stanback were out here last night.
Yeah,
and they yelled at me from a distance, so I came over. I was like, I mean, you make 75% of your throws.
It's pretty, yeah.
He's amazing.
So that's what I heard, the pounding when I had my windows open last night, all the way over there in building 19.
And Stanback's not a bad player, but it was like every single time. I watched him make how many throws are in one round? 8?
4.
I mean 4.
Yeah.
And I saw 2 rounds. He made 6 out of 8. I mean, it was amazing.
Like right
the
in the
other 2
hole.
went on the board, so.
On the fly or sliding in?
It's just like he's
No
got it
matter.
down.
Just let me know. How
Now
you
we
want me to
know
play that.
what he does all day.
Right?
I mean, the cornhole game is right around the corner right over here, and that's what he does all day. He spent all off season doing that.
Well,
It's amazing.
Sandback's been talking about getting me to play him, so we finally got time to do it.
And
so
who won?
What do you think?
6 out of 8.
Well, anyway,
I think he
that's
was.
Pulling the
we
curtain
didn't,
back
we didn't
behind
keep
the
score
scenes.
the last game because it was getting out of control.
I'm going to ask him about that.
All right, so Mickey, did you go on your bike ride this morning?
Stationary bike ride.
Stationary bike.
Because this starts at like 8 o'clock, so to take a
Well,
bike
last
ride.
Tuesday you went on a bike ride, right? Or Wednesday. It was last Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Our first day we did the show.
When I had a flat tire.
And you had a flat tire.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's probably going to factor that into the workout equation,
Yeah.
right? So I figured to do that, I have to get up like at 5:30.
Yeah. Nate, how was your drive out here?
It was nice. I took off and about 10 o'clock Saturday and drove all the way to about 8 or 9 that evening. I got to Demings, Arizona, pulled over and, got some sleep, and then got up that morning at 5 and came on in, just having fun, stopping. I feel like my mom and dad or my grandfather, them, when they used to stop and take 25 minutes just to gas up, walk around, and see the same type stuff over and over, the little souvenirs in each little town. But it was great. I love it. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to go. It's just like I jumped on a plane and jumped off.
And you're going to be out here for the rest of the time?
All the way to the 18th.
All right.
All the way to the 18th of August.
Okay.
Oh, so you're going to have a break here when we go back
When
to
y'all
the
leave,
preseason game. Where
I'll
you
probably
going?
go to Colorado, drive down and see Dion, and then come back.
Come back.
What's wrong?
No, just go to Colorado.
How long is the drive to
You don't know
Boulder?
his driving habits?
Oh, I do. I
Wait,
do.
How have you looked at it? How long is the drive from?
Probably about 8, 9, maybe 10 hours.
And they're going through preseason training.
Yeah, I
camp.
got to see that.
At least 10 hours, right?
Yeah.
How's Dion doing? He's doing all right.
He's doing great. I spoke with him about a week ago after his second surgery, and he's doing well. And the doctor comes right to the office where he's at early in the morning, check him out, and he's rehabbing. And he had to go into both, close, not all, just right outside his groin into both thighs, and go down and pull the clots out right in his lower quad. So he's doing fine. Yes, he's doing great.
Are you looking forward to going into the Big 12 next year?
Yes, he told me that about a month ago that he was going into the Big 12, and I just kind of
so I could break that story.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, I don't like to be that one. He's like, don't break it, Nate. he said it kind of laughingly, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to take a chance. And say, so I should have called you though and say, hey, Bill, I got some inside scoop. The Big 12 is going to be a good, I think, conference.
Everybody's coming back.
Yes.
By the way, Dennis Thurman is on his staff. At
Yes, he
Colorado.
is.
He was at Jackson State with him too.
Yeah.
You know how I know that?
How did you know that? You ran into him?
Because I knew that he was with him at Jackson State. I
Right.
didn't realize
He's
he'd gone with him to
transferred over,
Colorado.
yes.
But I interviewed Stephon Gilmore yesterday and loved it. I mean, it was.
Right.
He's a quiet guy. Stephon is a quiet guy, but
Yeah.
if you get him, if you hit his hot buttons,
Yeah.
he'll start talking.
Right.
And I went back and looked just at his history with Buffalo. The guy that probably made as big an impact as anybody on Stephon Gilmore in his career in the NFL was Dennis Thurman.
Really?
Yeah.
Thurman was the defensive coordinator with the Bills in 2015 and 16. And that's Gilmore's third and fourth year in Buffalo, and he made the Pro Bowl in 16. And then he went to New England after that, and in 17 in New England they go to the Super Bowl and lost to Philadelphia. In 18 they win the Super Bowl. In 19 Gilmore wins the NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. But he said that Dennis Thurman was a guy that really he learned a lot from him, and it really put him over the top in his career.
Dennis is coordinator over the information. I don't know what you call in college guys that gather the information, do the scout work, do the film work. I don't know what you call those guys, but he's the coordinator. They got about 6 of those guys. He's the coordinator over all that.
Like the
At
quality
Colorado.
control guys?
Yeah, quality control guy.
Okay.
Over the college.
Very nice.
Scouting. So he's big time, and him and Dion are close because when Dion came home a couple of weeks ago after the first surgery, the guy that was in the office was Dennis. We called him and was talking to him. Like, Dennis, what's up, man? Like, hey, man, I'm just here trying to make sure everything is running right, and I got to look at these players they talking about to see how they fit. I'm like, whoa, okay. And Dion like, those are the guys I'm looking for.
So I was telling Stefan all about Thurman's thieves.
Yeah. Wow.
And so I gave him a history lesson.
He didn't
on
know
the
about
Cowboys.
Thurman's
Well,
thieves?
He may have known
Come
about it, but I
on.
felt good being able to tell him again about it.
So,
And he can't wait to meet Everson, too, Stefan.
well, he will.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will meet Everson.
You also had your interview with Jerry.
Yeah.
Was that in the car wash yesterday?
It was
or
on
was that
Saturday.
especially for you?
No, that was Saturday.
Oh, that was Saturdays
Yeah.
that I saw that got
Saturday
posted?
they ran, Sunday night on all the stations. Jerry is amazing. Just think of what he did on Saturday. Okay, he had the opening ceremonies out
Yes.
here, and that's when he kissed the Lombardi Trophy. And then they had practice, and after practice, I bet you, and even he was doing interviews on the field after the opening ceremonies. He was doing interviews with the NFL Network was out here. It was back together Saturday all across the on the NFL Network, and then on ESPN he does something with Ed Werder over there. And then after practice, there were probably close to 10 TV stations that he did. My interview with him went 8 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes with 10 stations. And then he gets on a plane and
So he
flies over
did
to
all
Vegas.
that before he flew to
Yes.
Vegas?
And then he gets on a plane, flies to Vegas, and he's in the locker room right before Errol Spence went out there. And then got back, I guess, at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time.
So who you thought was the tiredest at the end? Was it Jerry or Errol Spence?
I knew Nate was going there.
I didn't see the fight. But from Mick told me, I'm like, he should give his money back from what Mick told me.
Boy, that was a whipping.
Yeah.
So what
I
was,
just saw it on Twitter.
So what was
That's
the,
all I had to see. I saw the knockdowns on Twitter.
Oh man, they had all three of them.
That people just illegally or whatever.
Good thing
tweeted them out.
they waived the 3 knockdown rule.
Yeah.
Because it would have been over earlier. So what was the best thing Jerry told you? Or what was the most important thing he told you?
There wasn't anything controversial like there was yesterday with when he talked to the writers about Ring of Honor stuff.
Oh yeah, a couple coaches.
I decided not to go down the trite Ring of Honor road with him. Although it has been a long time since Gil Brandt in 2018 was the last one to go into the Ring of Honor, and before that was Darren Woodson in 2015.
So there's only been
a while.
two in
the last 8 years.
8-9 years, yeah.
And then you go back further than that. There's been 2 in 12, 13 years.
Right.
So, one thing that I've been struck by, I like listening to Sirius NFL Radio, and they've got a lot of former GMs and former head coaches on there. And to a man, those guys all talk about the Cowboys and say that they like this Cowboys roster. They love this Cowboys coaching staff. And so my first question to him was, Jerry, I'm hearing former GMs and coaches around the league saying this is a Super Bowl roster. Do you agree? And, well, I like hearing that. And, of course, he's not going to go on record and say that he agrees. I mean,
But he's right. If you look at the roster, I mean, there's not many holes, obvious holes. They got to figure out the kicking deal. But other than that,
backup running back or the running back.
Well,
to
I like
pair,
what he told. Tell him what they said about Ezekiel Elliot.
There's a hole right there at who they're going to pair with Tony Pollard in the backfield, because I look at Deuce Vaughn as a guy that we saw the burst
on
the
that
field
one play.
yesterday, but he's more of a gadget guy, to start off with, especially in his NFL career at his size, and I think he's going to make an impact his rookie season. But Ronald Jones now suspended the first couple of games for violation of the performance-enhancing drug policy.
Who?
And you got Ronald Jones, the running back.
Did you check the waiver wire this morning? I thought it was. I'm sorry. I thought it was on it.
He's still here.
Yeah. That don't work.
I didn't have him on the roster anyway. The final roster.
Me either.
Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis. But so I asked Jerry. I said, can you see a scenario where, because that day Zeke was interviewing with the Patriots.
Right.
I said, can you see a scenario where Zeke could return to the Cowboys? And he said that, yes, as we get along into the season. He used the term that as we went along into the season, he could. He hasn't closed the door at all on that possibility. He brings a lot in many ways to any NFL team, and had nothing but praise for him. But what he said was, as we get on into the season, that was what was kind of the terms that he used that kind of couched it a little bit.
Well, when I listened to it, when he said that, I took it as maybe not in training camp,
yeah,
but as we move forward.
And in the mindset of Jerry, going into the season means after they break camp.
Right, exactly.
Because you're starting to get into season mode then.
Because the other thing that gets a misconception when they start talking big on some of these rookie free agents, well, they're not looking at it just solely as the 53. They're looking at it 16 guys in a practice squad. And we got to find those guys. And a lot of times when he embellishes some of those guys, it's for the practice squad too. And there's a bunch of those guys that they basically gave them guaranteed money, but the guarantee was to cover their practice squad salary for a year. So when they do that, then it's almost certain those guys are going to be on the practice squad.
And we've talked about it throughout the offseason on Zeke. If you go back and look at Zeke's season last year, he was averaging 4.1, 4.2 yards a carry up until the Terrence Steele injury. And then the last 5 games of the season, he wasn't going anywhere in the running game. Tony Pollard wasn't going anywhere in the running game. The whole running game fell off at that point. They both averaged under 3 yards a carry the last 5 games of the regular season last year. When I look at this roster, behind Tony Pollard, who had 9 rushing touchdowns last year, I don't know where those other 12 rushing touchdowns are coming from that Zeke had last year.
Yeah, and if you look at it,
I mean, if you're going to have the same kind of success in the red zone that you had last year, then you got to be able to run the football down there.
I thought from the little bit that Malik Davis got to play, and it was only 38 carries for 161 yards and a touchdown, I thought he had a little something for a rookie free agent from Florida. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
And then Rico Dowdle, we just don't get to see him. He's been hurt and on the injured reserve.
On the walk-off yesterday, he was the first name out of the coach's mouth that I really like what I'm seeing from Rico.
Right, yeah.
The thing is, fellas, you have to play these 2 guys. And I'm speaking only of 2 guys, Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis.
Right.
Play them. Find out as much as you can of who they are. There's a lot of guys on my list. Who are these guys? Well, I believe that if we leave training camp and we're not satisfied with those 2 guys as the backup, I told Mickey as I was traveling, and you didn't have time to call me back as I was traveling 20 hours here to California. I wanted to let Mick know we have the running backs, Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis. Now, we have to play them during the preseason. And if either one of them get nicked to the point where you see they may miss any games, then Zeke is your guy. You call Zeke, say, get Zeke, here's $3 million. And we'll give you this amount if you surpass these numbers.
And that's the thing. We don't know how much
Yes.
Zeke is willing to play for.
I'm going to tell you something. In today's NFL market, even Big Henry, if he get released, you will find out, and he will find out that the market is not there.
That's Dalvin Cook's finding that out right now.
Yeah, so right now the going rate for an older gentleman that's a little seasoned.
And
right
28
now,
is old.
Yeah, and it's 3.
For a running back.
Yeah, but who's averaged around 300 carries.
Yeah.
So now you gotta factor all of that in. You have another year, and you gotta look at it from an old man point. You're building on your pension. You just build it on your NFL pension. You got to look at it from a different angle and get Zeke back in here. If these 2 guys, because besides the Hunter guy, fullback, We set. We're set at every position except the offensive line. We are set. If these two guys don't give you what you need and you're not 100% sure, get Zeke. Bring him in here and let's roll. We don't need a new guy. We don't need a new guy because he's got to learn our system and learn how he fits. And coach got to look at him and break him down. We know what these 3 guys are or these 4 guys are, depending on we have Zeke or not.
And Zeke fits in this locker room, right? And I think he would come in, know his place.
Right.
I think he's smart enough to do that, and just add that locker room energy that he adds.
Yes.
You need a guy like that, right?
Yes.
You need a guy to break up the monotony of football. You need a guy like Nate in the locker
Kevin
room.
Gogan
Right?
and
We
had a bunch of us.
on.
But the thing about this, and I'll tell people, man, it's just I hate this feeling of and it's been a lot of years for me where I think we got a real chance to do something special this year. And I hate that feeling because it's been a long time.
See, and that's
getting
what
in this point.
I feel the same way, and that's why I'm concerned if something happens to Pollard, then what at running
Yes.
back? And not that Zeke is the same type running back that Pollard is by any means as far as his home run threat or anything,
Right.
but a guy that has done it and is reliable back there. All right, we're just getting started here on this edition of Mick Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite. And we haven't even looked at any of Mickey's long list on his legal pad when we come back.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. Have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, or go to kpostcompany.com.
Oh.
Very nicely done there, Mickey.
And we just put this together off air. Him and our supreme producer, Chris Bean.
Normally,
Wow.
Mickey's got some reads that are written out for him, and you just did that off the top of your head. That was amazing.
I kind of scratched it out.
Oh, okay.
Like back in the old day with the dudes, you say you did it off the top of your dome.
Top of your dome.
Back in the old days, I don't know what they say these days.
All right, we were talking about Zeke and the market out there for him. The other thing that the Cowboys are going, and are all NFL teams right now, is you're getting through training camp and you've kept money aside in case of injury. And so that's the other thing the Cowboys have to factor into this is let's get to the end of camp. I mean, you've got people that are dropping in other camps without any contact. They just take a snap from center and Joe Burrow goes down. And so you don't know where the next injury is going to come from. And they've got a short list of guys at every position group in the league that they would call upon probably at that veteran minimum salary.
Right. And what everybody needs to understand is there is a salary cap, right? When we talk about bringing in somebody or whatever, and if a guy goes on IR, he gets paid. And now you got to bring in somebody else to take his spot, and that guy's got to get paid. So sometimes, I know what the Cowboys like to do. When they go into a season, they want to have $10 to $12 million of cap space to operate through the entire season. You got to pay your practice squad. You got to pay guys that are on IR. If they get injured and they're done for the season, if they give them an injury settlement, you got to pay those guys. So you have operating costs that you have to have money in reserve.
And
go ahead.
You also have to have, just in case you have a clean year, if you need that one guy.
Right.
Yeah, so you got.
Like they tried last year with T.Y. Hilton,
yes,
right?
We got that one guy, and you got to be able to pay him a satisfactory deal because a lot of guys do say, I'm going to sit home. And if it don't come, it don't come. But if it do, they'll take it. I mean.
And that might be Zeke this year.
And I don't want just any guy coming to this team. I think Coach Johnson has made me kind of this way. If I bring you in here and my guys don't feel you and we don't feel you, we got to have enough room to get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's a cap and you can't do that now, but that's how we used to do it back in the day. We want the right type of guy because this team is poised to do something special.
Because guys that have sweat equity,
yes,
right? They're maybe more reliable than bringing in a carpetbagger, right? He's going to come in for 4 games, 3 games. He hadn't gone through all the hard work with everybody.
Yeah.
All right, Mick, you run through your little injury
my list right
there.
here. Yeah.
And yesterday,
Sam Williams goes down. Got a shoulder strain. I was told they didn't think it was that serious, so we'll see where that one goes. Dorrance Armstrong was out with a hamstring. He was working on the side with the trainer. So those were kind of the 2 new ones. Obviously, they've had the previous injuries with Donovan Wilson. I saw Israel Mukuamu was out doing a little bit yesterday, so maybe his isn't as serious.
And then Jordan Lewis.
And then Jordan Lewis still on PUP, and Schoonmaker
working hard,
is on non-football injury. So
what about Trayvon? Because Trayvon was he ran on the field in uniform.
He did individual.
And then by the end of practice,
he
was in street clothes on the side.
Yeah, but he did his work with the trainers and after the individual. So he's got a bruised toe. Somebody said he heard it try and carry all that $21 million signing bonus to the bank.
Somebody had to take a shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's serious. I know there was some conflicting reports. Mike McCarthy said, he should be out. He'll get back into doing something in practice Monday or Tuesday.
And that's basically what has happened.
Right.
And so I'm taking that maybe the way they're dealing with Trayvon. And here's what Mickey's getting at is on Saturday, McCarthy at his press conference or in the walk-off said that he was asked when Trayvon might get back out there, and he said early next week, meaning Monday or Tuesday. Well, he was out there on Monday doing individual stuff. Not 30 minutes later, we're asking Jerry as he came off the field after the opening ceremony, saying, when do you expect Trayvon back? And he said, probably could be when we get back to Dallas. And so that was a span of anywhere between 2 days and 22 days. Well, it turns out, he is back on the practice field 2 days later, what Mike said after the press conference. But it might not be until we get back to Dallas before he's doing everything, unless he has a set.
Yeah, but and I'm watching him do that stuff. he looked pretty
But they're going to take it slow with him.
Right, and the same thing. Yeah. The same thing with Terrence Steele and Tony Pollard coming back from their surgeries. Mike said they would be limited in Monday's padded practice. Well, both of them were out there in team. They had the pads, and now they might have not done as many reps as they normally would have, but Pollard looked really good running the ball. Steele was doing a nice job at right tackle. And then when he wasn't out there, Waletzko was getting those reps, and that helps him out because they're looking right now for a backup offensive tackle. Now, I think if it ends up being a long-term deal, your backup offensive tackle most likely is Tyler Smith, and then you figure out the guard spot. But right now, they would like to have a game day guy ready to go, and Waletzko had missed all that time last year on injured reserve, and they're giving him a good chance, and you need a backup guard, and they're giving Josh Ball a chance at that. So, somebody remarked to me that they were watching the second team offensive line, and I don't know how closely you got the chance to watch it, but they felt like this was the most depth maybe the Cowboys have on the offensive line than they had in a while.
Well, they got the rookie Richards. He ran a lot when they did the pressure drill, the passing drill. He ran a lot with the first team and the second team.
And they like
Richards, fifth round pick.
And they like T.J. Bass, too. He's been getting a lot of snaps. And Hoffman at center.
At the right guard position.
Right.
Forniak, I think he's just solid backup center. But the thing that's amazing about all of this is I watched Coach Mike Solari work these guys. And he had their full attention. He commands respect. It's a different type deal here. I don't agree 100% with you, Mick. I think the left side is what it is, and Tyron and Smith let that play out. And even if a guy get injured, you got to pick between Idaga, and is Waletzko.
Waletzko.
Yeah.
But I was meaning if something happened to Tyron.
Okay.
They're not putting Tyler back at tackle.
No.
You don't think so?
No, let's find us a swing tackle between Indaga and Waletzko.
I'm worried about Indaga.
We can be worried, but this is where the preseason games are truly meant for these guys. You have to find out who these guys are. I mean, and it's good to have the best five out there, but you still have to find out who these guys are.
Oh, I'm okay finding out.
When the Butcher, the president, all world, Martin come back, it's gonna settle this offensive line down, and then Steele is gonna be okay. You got to have faith. The only person we worry about is Tyron, and we can kind of control what he does out here in practice. But when the game starts, it is what it is. But I don't like moving two guys to make for one. Just move a guy to left tackle that can play left tackle. You went out and got these guys. You got to trust in the process.
Well, we'll find out in training camp and in those preseason games. That's why they're not going to play Tyron Smith that much in preseason. Right?
Not at all. I wouldn't play him not at all.
So you're going to get a chance to see somebody there.
Practice
see what they can do. See, the thing with Idaga, his contract was similar to Ronald Jones. It was a one-year veteran exception.
Okay.
And that tells me if that's all they're paying him, they're not convinced that he is the guy to sink their teeth into if something happens.
But
he's got to prove something.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what it is.
Right.
My deal is this right here. What hurt us in the long run, in the bigger games, are the games that count the most. The playoff games are the division games, because our division is one of the best in the game. The East is one of the best in the game from paper, looking at paper. You can't afford to come into third place and hope you get in the playoffs. You got to be in first or second place in our division to make sure you get a spot in this thing. And our offensive line has to be solid. Our offensive line has to be on point. And if you got a lot of moving around in there, you look at the strength of all our teams that we in our division, and every one of them has one thing that's consistent: a defensive line.
All right.
Just let me ask one more thing.
Okay.
You mentioned Solari.
Yes.
And you had him for a couple of years.
Yeah,
right? But he was
we came in together.
Then. Yeah.
Yeah, he came in as a coach, special teams, and offensive line assistant, and I was a rookie, a first-year guy, rather. And he was a note-taking dude. And over the years, you see every coach that he's touched, he's got a little bit of their stuff in him. And but he's a hard working guy. He's a guy that's easy to get along with, but he's not going to take any stuff when it comes time to work to make this team better.
And when Zach Martin in the offseason was asked about what his impression was of Solari, he said he brings a lot of energy into the room. And I think that's a good quality for the offensive line.
And when we come back here on Mick Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite, I'm going to ask Nate about Zach Martin.
Yes.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Dallas Cowboys football, Nate Newton? Tell us how you spice up the game for a chance to be named the 2023 Cowboys Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan and win exclusive prizes plus a trip to the Super Bowl 58. Nominate yourself or another today at dallascowboys.com/fan of the year.
So you said that was Captain Martin. What did you say?
Morgan.
Oh, Martin. Oh, I thought you said Martin.
Captain Martin?
Yeah.
Speaking of Captain Martin,
Speaking of the captain.
the president.
What Jerry tell
how
you?
much?
Wait. What did Jerry tell you about him?
Same thing he told everybody else about his contract. I think I asked him, how does this thing get resolved?
Right.
And, of course, he didn't answer that. Really.
Well, I think he said, it doesn't need to be resolved.
Yeah, but that's what he said. It doesn't need to be resolved. He just needs to come back to camp. But his point is they've got Parsons to pay. They've got they just paid Diggs.
CeeDee
Lamb to pay.
Steele next year.
Yeah, Terrence Steele and Dak and whoever is coming up here.
And that was his point. He wasn't saying they can't give Martin any money because of solely Micah Parsons. He meant everybody down the line. They got all these guys that they got to take care of.
If we redid all our long-term contracts because of the market shifts, we wouldn't have a team, basically.
That'd be like Nate walking into Jimmy and said, "Yeah, I need more money."
I did do that.
And
he said, "Son, you're lucky to have a job. Can you please close the door when you leave out."
All right, so
and make sure no one else comes in with the same BS, right?
So for Zach Martin, how late can it go for him to be ready to play in the season opener?
all the way up into the week of the game because he need to prepare to play the game.
That's all he needs is to prepare to play for the game.
The butcher's going to do. They call him the butcher. I call him the president. But Zach Martin he's a beast. He's going to have some rust and I'm more worried about the rust between him, the center, Biotish, and Terrence Steele, or whoever may be playing that right tackle, because he is the glue to this whole offensive line. All the way out to your left tackle, he is the glue. He is the guy. When things go wrong, his calmness settles everything down.
And one of the things they talked about in the offseason was with this McCarthy taking over the offense, they were changing up some of the protections.
Yes.
And remember, he didn't get a chance to work in the OTAs or the mini camp because supposedly he was rehabbing a soft tissue injury. Well, this might have been the start of him balking at his contract. So if he doesn't get all this work, I think it's not his ability, but it's
the language may hurt him.
And coordinating with the other guys.
Yeah. And Mick, the language coming from Dak. You can get the language from Coach Solari because they're probably talking and keeping him abreast.
Right.
But the language coming from Dak may be a little bit different. How quick he get a play and how the rush, the time on the clock, and how you can say, hey, da 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 da, and you know what he means. But you can't da 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 with a guy been out of camp.
Okay, so for both of you, who caught your eye yesterday?
Immediately, the hookup between Dak and CD doesn't look like they've missed a step. But what I really like seeing was the energy and the ability to get open with Cavante Turpin as a wide receiver. We know he's kind of the return guy right now. They said they were going to get him into this offense. Well, when he's got opportunities, especially in these padded practice, he made 2 or 3 really nice catches, and he was getting open. So that caught me eye immediately. That and the ability to hit deep balls, not just Dak, but Cooper Rush, too, connecting with Michael Gallup, who beat Stephon Gilmore down the field. And then Dak, I don't know that he can overthrow Brandon Cooks on a deep ball.
Just the whole practice itself. I just, from coach translating from 10 padded practices to the field and enthusiasm that guys had just to be out on the field. I like how they open. I wish they would open up with the combo runs at the beginning of practice. Once I want to go straight to combo runs because we had to wait too long to watch Mazi Smith and all of these guys play and get into some physical stuff. And that was very impressive. The first play took off to the left side, and it broke. Now Tyron didn't get a great block, but he held it enough where the running back just shot through there, Pollard shot through there for a touchdown. But I did see a young 58 Mazi do what he's supposed to do one time when he jammed up the guard, Smith, and Tyron couldn't get off, and it just let 14 just run free and make a big play for a big hit. And that stuff like that is you looking at this kid because he is eating up bodies. And I saw him do that a couple of times, so that really jumped at him when Mazi ate up enough blocks so them linebackers can run free.
I love Mazi.
You got to do a lot to move him.
Man, you can just look at him. You can tell how strong he is without him even moving a muscle.
And he ain't sloppy fat, man. He ain't he ain't Fat Albert. He ain't hey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I looked at him, man. It kind of made me. It's a lot of times when I look at players, and I'm not saying what this kid is going to be during the season, but if I look at a player, and I'm 61 now, if I look at a player and he kind of make the hackles grow up on the back of my neck, I think he may got a little something in him that make me want to get after him. You know what I'm saying?
If you talk to him,
do you have somebody?
Well, I was just going to say this about Mazi. If you have somebody that he's got some Micah in his personality. He's got a confidence about him, and
that normally come with Michigan guys.
A genuineness about him.
Yeah.
Where when you talk to him, he's real when he talks to you. And he's.
So you saying the other 60 guys are not real. It's just only him and Parsons.
It's just he's got.
Wow, that's messed up, Big. What are you saying?
And by the way, Parsons, he didn't take no prisoners yesterday either.
Yeah.
His pass rush, they were having trouble blocking him.
Man.
And I'm sitting there going, well, I don't know about these tackles. And I'm thinking, no, it's Micah Parsons. Unbelievable.
I had to check myself the same way.
Right?
I mean, I saw him flinch a calf muscle and the whole right side jumped offside. He just flinched a calf muscle and the whole right side jumped
And here's
offside.
another thing I noticed what they're doing. Keep an eye on what they're doing with Leighton Vander Esch, especially in some nickel situations. When they feel confident on a linebacker taking over that middle, if they're only in one linebacker, they've lined him up as a defensive end, and he's rushing.
Love it.
He's not blitzing. He's rushing, and I asked him about it, and he didn't want to talk about it. And then he turned around and smiled. He goes, just watch. You see it, just like that.
Well,
right?
and that also it tells you how they feel about the other linebackers, like the
Right.
Clark.
Right.
You know.
That Clark can handle it in the middle, or they're kind of starting to use Cox a little bit more in there.
He can run.
And he is so athletic.
He can flat out
Boy, if they
run.
keep him healthy, and you can use, I mean, they've got linebackers that are versatile, can do other things.
I saw him hit a hole. He hit it too
Yes,
soon.
yes.
And he still fell back. I'm telling you. And on my show, they laugh at me because I'm always Mr. Optimistic. But I'm telling you, fellas, if we fix this offensive line and we have minor injuries, our defense, man, it is ready. I see no weak points. People keep talking about the linebacker. No, there's no weak points. Because I talked to Coach Quinn yesterday. He has a plan for everybody. All you need is for the players to stay motivated and play within the scheme that is designed for him.
Well, and just remember, if they have a problem at linebacker, Micah Parsons can still play linebacker, right?
Yes.
You can still use him there
No,
as
he
a
can't.
pass rusher.
I don't agree.
He's got to be on the line of scrimmage.
Now he's got to be on the line of scrimmage for everything to work. It's like Lawrence Taylor. I'm serious. They would move. I remember playing against the Giants. They would move Lawrence everywhere on the line because it made everybody else play free. But if you lock him into a certain spot, and I don't want him ever at linebacker because
No, if he's
he
at
gotta
linebacker,
fight, but he
can't
gotta
you move
fight
him
through
around
something.
more?
But he got to fight through something.
Well, he could get double team on the line of
He
scrimmage.
got to fight. I don't want him thinking. See, the first few years I didn't mind him thinking. Now, see ball, get ball,
let the
have
lion
no
roar.
responsibility. You have no responsibility. The other 10 guys, you have responsibilities.
You know what? We have a responsibility.
Uh-oh.
Our ressibility is to be done with the show right now.
Did Chris give you the high side?
No, I just looked
I
at
thought
my
it was
watch.
Capo. I thought it was Capo's Roofing. I thought they had us
watch,
covered.
and it's no longer Miller Lite time here.
Wow,
brings
you've been
you
saying that
Mick
Miller Lite a couple of times. You all right?
We'll be back on Thursday.
We'll be back on Thursday. Thursday it is, and the break is coming up shortly.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!